All right, so the test review, chapter 2. Most of this is based off the quiz we just took because that's the first 3 sections, so it should be pretty familiar. So looking at the diagram to the right, true or false? Points A, C, and D are collinear. Well, here's A, here's C, and here's D up here, which means we have to go this way. And you might say, well, they are on the same line because, if you follow that path, you get there. But no, collinear means on the same straight line. So this is false. Okay? A, C, and B, as in boy, are collinear. DCB is a right angle. Right? Well, I do see a right angle symbol in there. Right here. But that is for QCL or LQC. We do not have a right angle symbol right there for DCB. So the answer is false. Again, if the question asked, is LCQ a right angle, it would be true. ACQ, so ACQ, and QCM are complementary. Well, complementary means it adds up to 90. For it to add up to 90, ACM would have to be the angle with the right angle mark. It is not. So this one is also false. Now, if it said ACQ and ACL, those two form this right angle here, and those two are complementary. QC is array. Again, we're in a rut with false. QC is not array. If we said CQ, or like this, that is array. Starting here at C, endpoint C, going through Q. But QC in this direction is not array. DCL, so let's find it first, DCL, and LCM are supplementary. This one is true because they form a straight line, well, if I could draw one, right there, meaning they are supplementary. Whoops, got in the habit of saying false. It's true, finally. CQ, okay, so that's this ray right here, CQ, and notice, like I said previously, that's the proper one, that is a ray, is perpendicular to line N. Well, line N is also AB or CA or any of these. That's line N. CQ is not perpendicular to that line. Okay, CQ is perpendicular to CL because of that right angle symbol, but not to line N. Plane E is an appropriate name for this image. Well, here's E right here. E has a dot next to it, so that is false. Plane P would be an appropriate name for this image. Okay, along with plane EAC, ABE, ACE, and so forth. Let's move on. Determine whether the conditional statement is true or false. If false, give a counterexample. All right? So if two angles are supplementary, which means they add up to 180, they must form a linear pair. That is false. Two angles, I'm just going to abbreviate here, that are supplementary but not adjacent. In other words, if I had an angle here that was 130 and I had an angle here that was 50, those two are supplementary, but since they're not touching, they are not a linear pair. All right, number 9. If I get a good night's sleep, this is my hypothesis, I will feel rested tomorrow. Then I will feel rested tomorrow. That is my conclusion. So the converse is when you just switch them. Okay? If I feel rested, tomorrow, then I got a good night's sleep. I'm just going to write good sleep. You know what I mean. Okay? Then I got a good sleep. Okay? Now the inverse is where we negate the original one. And the contrapositive is when I negate this one. So I'm going to take the original one, if I get a good night's sleep, and say, if I didn't or did not, I'm just going to say get good sleep. You know what I mean? Just for space. Then I will not feel rested. I'm going to cut off tomorrow, but you know what I mean. So I just negated the original one. Now I'm going to take the converse and negate that. So instead of if I feel rested tomorrow, I'm going to say if I do not feel rested, I'm going to cut off the tomorrow just for space. Then, instead of saying I got a good night's sleep, then I did not. I'm just going to say sleep well. Okay? So conditional is just your if-then. Converse, switch them. Inverse, negate the original one. Contrapositive, negate the switcheroo. All right, we're going to use reasoning to find the next ones. So we have negative 5, 5, negative 4, 4. So we're basically going 5, 4, 3. And the first number is negative and the second number is positive. A, D, B, E. So let's see. This is the first letter. This is the second letter. This is the fourth letter. This is the fifth letter. So what we did was we went plus 3 minus 2 plus 3. So we're going to minus 2 again. So E backwards would be D and then C and then D, E, F. All right, so that's the pattern there. Decide whether inductive reasoning or deductive reasoning is used to reach a conclusion. A Boy Scout just helped an old elderly person across the street. All Boy Scouts must be the nicest people. Well, you're basing that on an observation, so we're going to say inductive. It's something you observed or saw. all my teachers in K8 were female, so I guess all my teachers in freshman year will be female too. Again, you're basing that on what you've seen. So that's going to be inductive. Right, number 16. We're basically just doing algebra here. Okay. We're going to copy the problem first, as always. 5x plus 2 in parentheses minus 4 equals 1. And that's just our given. And now we're just going to do algebra, except we're going to pretend we're answering a little kid who keeps saying why. So the first thing I need to figure out is what to get rid of, the 5 or the 4. I'm going to get rid of the 4 by adding 4 to both sides. And that's just the addition property. If I could spell. I'm just going to abbreviate. So what that gives me is 5 in x plus 2 in parentheses equals 5. And we're just going to call that simplify. Anytime you just bring something down or join like terms, we can just call it simplify. Now, we have two choices here. We can distribute the 5 and then deal with it. But since this is a 5 over here or multiple 5, I can just divide right now. Okay? So over here, I'm going to get rid of that. And this leaves me x plus 2. And that's going to give me 1. So what I did here was I did the division property. And I just simplified. Now, real quick, I'll show you. If I wanted to, I could have done 5x plus 10 equals 5. And I would have said distributed property. I'm just going to kind of abbreviate here. Just so you see there's two different ways. Maybe you did it this way. Then I would subtract 10. Okay. That would be subtraction property. And then I would have 5x equals 5. Sorry, negative 5, because 5 minus 10 is negative 5. And again, that would be just be simplify. And that would divide by 5. So that would be division again. And that give me x equals negative 1. Simplify. Or over here, I'm just going to subtract 2. And that's going to be subtraction, because I did the same thing to both sides. I'm going to abbreviate here, subtraction property. And that leaves me with x equals negative 1. Simplify. So you can see there's two different ways to go about it. It doesn't take really much more either way. It's just what your brain sees. Okay? Just options. All right. Identify the property. 3 plus 2 equals 5, so 5 equals 3 plus 2. Basically just the left side and the right side switched. So this is the symmetric property. If you think about symmetry, when the left side matches the right side, that's what we're talking about here. A equals B, B equals A. Right? Here, what did we do? We distribute it. So that's the distributive property. If Jamie and Marco are friends, and Marco and Frederica are friends, then Jamie and Frederica are friends. Okay? That's a transitive property. Two xy equals 2xy. You're looking at yourself. You're seeing a reflection. That's the reflexive property. If 3x plus 2 equals 9, then 3x equals 7. That's the subtraction property, because you subtracted 2 from both sides. And there you go. That's it.